this guy is a critical piece to the success of our industry. He's doing things, out there that I think are revolutionary. He's a teacher. He's a teacher. In some countries, that is the most prized occupation that there is, right?
Training young minds.
Yeah. He was recent, and I didn't appreciate him when I was younger, but Ken was featured in an article, right, in Fender Bender magazine. It was titled Getting Alpha Students into Collision Repair. So everybody, please join me in welcoming the awesome automotive instructor from Norwalk High School in California, Ken Cook.
Southern California in the house.
I see you got no shortage of shirts in your background.
No shortage of shirts. That's correct. Greatness, you gotta look great first. So thank you for having me here. We talked about, engaging students. Let's face it, nationally, there's a crisis. The crisis is entry-level employees in the collision repair industry. And so we've been very grateful to the Collision Repair Education Foundation, CREF. They filled a huge void, okay?
Yep.
They recognized the problem, decades before anybody else did. They identified, specifically what are the areas of need, and they've been supporting it. We've been doing everything on our end to do everything behind that. Now, I always hear, recruitment, numbers, and obviously that's essential. I don't have that issue. I have 200 students, Dave, 200 students.
What?
5 classes of 38 each. So that poses its own challenges, right? But that's a good number because sometimes more is more. The reality is, though, and I realized this over the last 5-6 years, I'm not producing collision repair technicians. I'm producing graduates. I'm producing kids that are going on to other things, but true collision repair technicians, my students aren't glued to it like they used to be, say, 10 years ago. And I thought, well, what is it? Is collision repair changing? Am I changing? Am I not relevant anymore? And then I realized the students are there. They're going to other programs. So in California, we're really big on medical bio, engineering, these really sexy trades. A mom hears, "Oh, my son's gonna become an engineer." Oh, mijo, good.
What part of California is Norwalk?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
So our demographic is typically, and it's still blue collar. They value labor, they value hard work. But when a mom hears biomedical, mijo, that's for you. When she hears, engineering, that's for you. Or if you hear collision, maybe that sounds nice.
How about collision engineering?
Yeah. And I love what she just said a few minutes ago.
Mahoney may have a point.
Mary's not wrong about that. She really isn't, the level of thinking that goes into collision repair, people don't understand it, you either experience it or you don't. So my challenge is 45% of my students are special needs learners. Okay. Now keep in mind, I've got 38 students, so I've got a packed house. Half of them are special ed, and I'm not complaining about that. But it makes it really hard to challenge your best students. And it also makes it really hard to attract the best students of the school. And so one challenge that I've done is I realized these school students, they're leaving me when they're in middle school. They're meeting these kids that are doing medical bio classes. They're being recruited early on. And so I said, you know what? I got to fix that. So what I want to do is I want to create a mobile workstation, basically an open bay out of a utility trailer, where I can do mobile presentations. Here's how we correct metal. I have I have an inflatable paint booth. I was able to use it. Harbor Freight had a really cool summer internship program. I was able to tag along with that. These kids, 11 years old, and they have a spray gun in their hand for the first time. And they're spraying Rust-Oleum paint, but they're spraying with the spray gun. They're adjusting the knobs, the air pressure. I mean, the mask barely fit their faces. They're so small,
Yeah.
But it really was cool. And I'm watching all these really young kids at an early age getting truly engaged, going, wow, this is something I never thought of. This is something that I want to do. And honestly, I think that's the fix. We need to attract a stronger student base, and then we need to cater to that. Okay. What I want to do, my personal goal is, getting the alphas as soon as the age of 11 into automotive. So they say, okay, I got 3 years and I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that I take that program. And when they do, I want to isolate them. In my regular classes, I deal with a lot. I just, it's endless disruptions, you name it, I deal with it, right? I mean, today we had a walkout on my school because of local immigration reform. Like
Oh
literally,
no.
10%
Yeah.
of my school just walked off the campus today.
I'm
Well, that
sorry to hear
impacts my
that.
class. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no way around it. What I want is one class of just true alphas, kids that are dedicated to joining the automotive industry, and literally our ability to travel will be much faster. I feel like I'm always in the slow lane when I teach because I'm
Mm.
dealing with all these constant little fires that are around me. I just want to get when my boss is actually on board with it. He's a true visionary. Dr. David Olea, this guy,
So
he gets it.
talk to me more about how you do this, because you've got some elite students,
Yep.
right? And then you've still got some of the slower
So,
learners that
so it's like
how do you make sure that everybody gets a chance to learn from you?
So everybody gets to stay in my class in the other four classes, but I'm going to have one class in particular, and because it's discriminatory by nature. I'm looking to create one alpha class, but there's a way around it. I'm going to make it a Skills USA class because I'm also a Skills USA advisor. You must be a
Nice.
Skills USA student. You must participate in our community engagement after school. It almost be like an ASB class where
Yeah.
you got to
I
kind
don't
of
see it as discriminatory. I see it as, aspiring to
Yeah,
ascend.
well, a
Yeah.
capstone class, but it would be by invite only. It would be by proficiency only, and
Hmm.
it would target a specific demographic. That's why I feel like it's kind of discriminatory in nature.
I see.
I'll be honest with you. I love my special ed kids. So like anytime I'm like I want to I want to do something different with somebody else, I always feel really bad.
I'm not sure. I wasn't one of those back in high school. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a high school instructor
no,
that
I agree.
believed in
For me,
me
it
in
was
mechanics.
a college level instructor. So,
Mhm.
I've just, it's been a great journey. Like we've had a lot of success through Skills USA. We're an active member, 10 years. We've received their Models of Excellence Award, which is the highest award that Skills USA offers in the nation. I believe I'm the only collision repair instructor to ever receive it, let alone that many times. Because we talk about career readiness, college readiness. Well, what about community readiness? What after when you get your career? What are you doing with your life? Are you voting? Are you participating in your kids' activities? Are you
Wow.
helping to coach, soccer? Those are the things that I think a lot of people miss. And those are things that I really try to promote. I'm a veteran of the armed forces. Service is just, I'm a Kiwanis president here in Norwalk. I'm the Key Club advisor, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Usually it's a female advisor, but here you got this big burly Key Club advisor. Um, just
Ken, I got a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I look at you as upstream. A lot of shops we kind of pull downstream. We try and pull technicians out of other shops and get help that way. You're
Yeah.
way upstream, and this is where things need to happen.
Hmm.
So what you're doing is such a noble cause because it brings our industry hope. And so what can we do to clone you in every school across the nations? Like
Oh, you wouldn't want to clone me. It would be like Terminator at the end.
but I mean that's
But if
that's the vision. Like what do we got to do to get your enthusiasm, your mission, not just in California. I'd love to see this same thing happening in every school across the
you
country.
know, so one challenge, the reason there aren't more Ken Cooks is they get burnout. I want to be honest with you. If you don't love what you do, this job doesn't make any sense being a collision repair instructor. I'm going to get the first spring break because of Skills USA adjusting their schedule for the first time since 2011. This will be the first year I have spring break with my sons, and they're 8 and 11 years old now. I mean, those are things that you do only if you're a little crazy, but you love what you do. One thing that does burn a lot of teachers out that I've seen locally is a lack of support. So if you wanted to clone me or if you wanted to create more of me, provide more
Support you.
support. And honestly, back
Let's
to the
put a
Collision
fine
Repair
point on
Education
that.
Foundation,
It's one
Yeah.
it's one thing to say, let's give these guys on listening to this call and the recordings, what is an action that we can do to support you?
an action support. You have a piece of equipment that's really good, but you want to get the latest and greatest because it's not meeting a certain criteria. You donate it instead of selling it for pennies on the dollar. You call up a teacher like me. Hey Ken, I want your students over at my shop. I want them to tour around and see what it looks like to make money and smell money. Uh, I mean, literally, like that's what it takes. Come, hey Ken, when can I come by your school and talk to your students? I'm scouting for talent. you know Let my students see, hey, there's people that are out there that are eager to hire them. I think that's how you would support it.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Ken, thank you so much for being here, man. You're
Absolutely.
inspiring, and
Yeah.
keep by example, brother.
Thank you for all you do.
And we watch
It
your
means a lot.
Motivation Mondays every now and then, Dave. I'm not kidding you. We want them to come back. We haven't seen you in a while.
Okay. All right.
Sounds
All
good,
right.
brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you.